Good morning, would-be farmer, somewhere in north central Florida, South Putnam County near Crescent City. And it's a beautiful day today, it's wonderful. I wanted to take you through my forest area, talk a little bit about trees. Trees are wonderful, mysterious. Even today, as we know so much more about trees, there's still a lot of mysteries. What do they do for us? Well, most of us understand that they give us oxygen. They photosynthesize. They do something magical and wonderful within their tree leaves. They turn sun into oxygen for us and food for themselves. Is that all they do? Oh yes, and they provide lumber for our houses and buildings, for our human settlements. Tree huggers. I remember when I was growing up, even though we considered ourselves aware of the environment, we weren't tree huggers because tree huggers were ridiculous. They would hug a tree. They thought trees were more important than humans. How about on the same level of importance? How about symbiosis? How about we're not doing anything without them, without trees? I have recently read a book called The Hidden Life of Trees by Peter Wolbin. And I hope I said that properly. It's not a common name like Smith or Jones or Hamilton, but anyway, he talks about how trees operate via a network of subterranean fungal mycelium. There are these mycorrhizal fungi that inhabit underground, that colonize around and in their root systems, and they transmit chemical information, nutrients, and water among trees of their own species as well as trees of other species. Okay, well, I haven't done the research on that, but many scientists have, and this is a peer-reviewed thing. Imagine in 1920 if somebody would have come up with this, that trees communicate amongst themselves. They even emit sounds in their trunks and in their branches. Water going up the trunks. Gurgling sounds that are detectable with our audio equipment. They can detect saliva, the variations in saliva of critters that are munching on their leaves, and there's a corresponding appropriate response to that chemically. A bitter substance might be exuded in their leaves so that it no longer is tasty for these critters. You have to excuse me, I'm clearing spider webs out of my way here and out of my hair. There we go. Walking through the forest now. So they can detect variations in saliva in their leaves when a critter's munching on them. Wow. There's even a tree, and I forget which tree it is. Might be a mimosa. I think he talked about a certain type of mimosa that in lab tests, initially when the leaves were hey Sela, little cat there, the leaves were touched by drips of water. Sela, you down there? Where are you? Over here. Hey Sela. These mimosa leaves, when they were touched by drips of water, they would close up. We know that to be true because they're very sensitive leaves. They kept doing it in the lab environment, And eventually, the mimosa quit closing up because it realized that the water dripping wasn't causing any damage. So the reflex stopped. So that's interesting. So it processed that. That's information that it processed. Okay. Now, weeks later, when they stopped the test, after weeks of having stopped the tests, they did the experiment again. Excuse me. Bugs. Still no response. So it remembered. So the tree remembered somehow. So does it have a brain? Ah, mosquitoes, go. Does it have a brain? And if it does, where is the brain? Is it in the root system? I haven't cleared out spider webs or anything in this forest for a while, so I'm being a little cautious. So does it have a brain? Well, I've hugged quite a few people. I wasn't sure if they had a brain, so maybe it's okay to hug these trees whether they have a brain or not. There was something else that I thought was fantastic that I read in this book, is that gases can be emitted from some trees. I think ethylene was one that was emitted by a certain tree when it was under a pest invasion. It emitted an ethylene gas. And this might have been I can't remember if it was to ward off a predator or to call attention to a predator to come and get the dinner that is eating the trees, that is eating the leaves. In other words, it emitted a gas. So it communicated to, say, a woodpecker to come get these larvae. More bugs. Hey, Toby. Toby's here too. You want to say hi to Toby? Say hi, Toby. Where are you, buddy? Oh, there he goes. Say hi, Toby. Where are you? There's Toby. So trees, and you tree huggers, if you all have been hugging trees for centuries, maybe you were doing the right thing. So be a tree hugger.